call the meeting to order at 5:32. And first, are there any adjustments to the agenda?
I don't have any.
All right. In that case,
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of July 29th.
I will second them. I don't see any.
all right, it's been moved and seconded. Any comments? Corrections?
Not from me.
Everything good? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are accepted. So Norm is not here yet?
No, I did call and he said he was going to be here, so
Okay.
I would assume maybe he's just running a little late.
I think it's you.
All right, then. So we have the tax sale of delinquent properties coming up. Information is in front of us. I guess, are there any that we're interested in purchasing?
Yeah, this is just the tax sale is next Thursday, the 20th. Right, is that next Thursday? Yeah.
Yes.
And we have on the list in front of you, there's 4 properties that are eligible for tax sale. The 4th one on the list is Ray Cormier, but that one, they're opening an estate on that one because they haven't been able to notify all of the creditors. So the first one that we have, and I did a map for everybody of each property. So the first one is Zach and Sam Caldwell up on Windmill Hill. The second one is Lee Prescott on Hilo Biddy Road. That's just land.
And where exactly is that one?
It's this right here, and if you look
Okay.
at the third
Yeah.
page, it's blown up a little bit to show you who the properties are next to it.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, are you talking about the one down here on Hilo Biddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a house there, somebody lives in it.
Yeah.
The card says that there's just land. Okay, so house and land. Is it a house or is it a trailer?
There's somebody living in
Well, I
the.
don't.
Is he the one that's been living there?
House.
Okay.
What's that house? Yeah, Glenn Charis.
He's the one who lives there and
Keeps,
asking about it.
yeah, okay, all right, forgot about that. And then the third one is Stephen Bain on Pierce Road. So I don't have any thoughts of you guys, going ahead and buying any of the properties, but I like to bring them to the board and find out if there's any interest in the town purchasing anything, and just talking about, I don't know if any of you can be here next week. It's not necessary that somebody's here as a representative. I'll be at the meeting. Laura will be at the meeting taking minutes, and the lawyer will be here. It's at 10?
I'll probably be here.
Okay.
I'll be out of town.
Okay.
Let you know.
Does anybody have any questions about the properties? The total that we're looking to collect is around, that's with legal fees and everything, so around taxes, 27,000 just in the taxes, interest, and penalty, which will, if we collect all of that, if the properties get purchased at tax sale, our deferred taxes will be about where we were last year. So about 66,000 is what will be left. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Any other thoughts?
No, as I say, I may be here or not. It's in the air.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And what time is that?
10.
10?
Yeah. And it's in here, in this room.
All right. In that case, we'll move to you, Norm.
Well,
Good evening.
Good evening.
I haven't actually talked to Norm, but when I got the email about the meeting for the representatives of the select boards that is being held tomorrow at Rescue Inc., the training center.
That's on Flat Street.
On Flat
That's
Street?
not up there.
Yeah. I didn't know if any of you could make it to this, but I thought maybe it would be important to have Norm, because I'm assuming you're going.
I am.
Yeah. Here just to, as a catch up, you know, with him on what's going on at Rescue and if there's anything we need to know before tomorrow.
And the meeting tomorrow night is for the select board members from the different towns to try to give them a, you know, other than the lowly board member, but the honchos will be there to give the straight scoop on what's going on in Rescue and what the plan is. So if it's, and I think there's a conflict with something else that select boards are involved with. And I know they tried to find a better date, but there just wasn't anything available. But they did want to update people on what's happening and the immediate future, I guess, of Rescue. Just as some background from filling in for my sitting in on it, I've kind of overdone it. You pointed me to the board. I'm also on the PR fundraising committee of the board. I'm also in the collective bargaining. Excuse me, Scott, this will come as a shock to you. I'm also bargaining for the agency with the employees.
Man with the job.
Well, and you know, and that's going very well. I think it's coming reasonably to a conclusion. Rescue is trying to do some things with its wage structure to improve its ability to not only hire but retain paramedics. That's the difficult part, because apparently in the area with the different services between here and Keene and the private services, there's real competition for paramedics, and every town wants a paramedic on every ambulance, and that's expensive, and also as a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour-a-day service, that's a lot of people. But we've reviewed other pay scales. We're trying to make our pay scale competitive in that area, so we can, if we get good people, we can hold them. They're expanding the training program, and some of that is profit making. I mean, you know, companies may want certain training, CPR training, for an example. They work through Rescue. Rescue staff goes in and does the training, and so there's some money generated that way. We're raffling off a beautiful black pickup truck, and I'll bring tickets to you. But the theory was that a lot of young people, it's a $39,000 Ford F-150 extended cab, beautifully black pickup truck, and the tickets are only $20, and there'll be 3,000 sold, but that's a way better odds than the Vermont lottery. So yeah. we sold a lot of them, and we hope we're going to sell more before October. I always look at it kind of askance as that we have to raffle a truck to try to make ends meet, but that's the way it goes. Rescue did switch its collection agency. There was an agency in Burlington, in Essex Junction. They not only didn't have a good record as we compare with other agencies, nobody collects 100%, but we were collecting less than what we would think would be appropriate. We left that group, terminated our services, went to a more professional, we think, outfit in Massachusetts that's doing the collection. Things have turned around, they're substantially better. But in doing that, because you switch, Medicare will not pay you for like 120 days. So, but we made it through that. We were by the skin of our chinny chin a little bit, but we got through that, and then everything is kind of back on course. The relationship within the management and the staff of Rescue, which was really pretty not very good some years ago, seems to be corrected. Things seem to be moving smoothly, and so from my attendance at board meetings and the PR committee, we're also sponsoring, or in the process, we're still waiting for final permits, something called an adventure race in Jamaica State Park with teams of people that will be, it'll be kind of like the Tough Mudder, but not like that, but there'll be ropes and water, and that will be a fundraising activity too that we hope to do that will support the plan. The discussion of an increase in the local, the town subsidy it hasn't been finalized yet, but they're looking at a 1% increase, which is less than the cost of living, but, I think it's a part of fits into everything else. But our collections are up. We're doing a lot better in that. The collective bargaining, I think, is going to work out fine. It's reasonable. It's not the agency. We think it's within our parameters. Staff seems to be on board with favorably with the way it's going. So that's kind of the picture at this
And
point.
number of transfers is up.
The
pretty
transfers are
significantly.
way up, and we're doing. I may get it wrong. We actually they bought a smaller vehicle, which was more to augment the transfer business, which does help. The problem, of course, we have is primarily, I think, in the Medicare, Medicaid range, where we're not reimbursed for the amount that it really costs to make those transports. So we make them up by all of the other things that rescue does. But we've increased that, and they are conscientiously working to even increase that aspect of the business before. But it's kind of an interesting business, because I was in the town of Jamaica for their Old Home Days a few weeks ago with this truck selling raffle tickets, and they were going to send an ambulance over, which never got there. And when I got back into the rescue, they said we had 23 calls that day, and we had nobody that we could send over to do a fundraising activity. So those things happen. But fortunately, we're equipped to be able to handle that. They handled a difficult transfer up in Townsend, I think, with a whole facility that I think there was a fire or something, and they had to relocate a substantial number of people, and they went in and organized and did that. So, but anyway, I don't know if that's in the area that you're interested in, but I found it very interesting to be a part of that, and the mysteries of healthcare and health insurance and health payments are still a mystery in many ways, but at least you start to see the reality of what happens with, especially when you see the reimbursement for Medicare and Medicaid, and the fact that as that reduces in its real value to what it costs, like everything else we deal with, local taxpayers get stuck with the bill, and but we are offsetting that with some of these other things, and I think increasing transfers, the training, although it won't be a huge amount of money, we could stand to make hopefully around $20,000 on a raffle. It helps, it's a little bit, and there's a lot of people involved, and I think all the board members have been involved in trying to sell those tickets, and we've sold about, I think we're closing in on 2,000, we're going to sell another 1,000 before October. But it'd be a great deal. If you have any questions that I can, but if any of you are available, I'm planning to go to that meeting tomorrow and down at Flat Street to keep up with everything. And, but if you're available, and they know that there's a difficult scheduling this time of year, but if you're available, we'd hope you can attend. And it'll be open, it'll be free for all, so you can get all those issues out. Just don't give away the fact that I'm on the negotiating committee that would be bad for me.
Well,
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding. I knew that.
I'm not sure they can edit that part, but.
So are either of you likely to try and go to that?
I am not going to be able to make that tomorrow.
I'm hoping that I had to rearrange something because of yesterday's meeting, and I have to just see if I can switch it back for tomorrow.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm going anyway. If you can attend, I'm more than willing to come back at your convenience, and if there's information that I get from that meeting, I'll be more than glad, or send it to you in writing. I mean, I can do that too. That wouldn't be very long. But if you can read it before you reach the wastebasket, is my theory of most written communications.
Yeah, I'm going to try and go. I have there's an open house tomorrow also down at, this is going to make it on TV in time, an open house down at Old Depot Road from 4 to
4:30?
6 or 4.
I think it's 4:30 to 6:30.
And I'm committed to that. So hopefully I can muster the energy to head down to rescue as soon as that's over. But
Are they in the process of working on the budget for this upcoming? Okay.
Yeah, we are, and it's not finalized yet.
Yeah.
I think part of the discussion is with the select board members will help to finalize that.
Okay, because I think that's what a major question
Yeah.
of our, because I think the problem with the last time that we started in our budget season and that whole thing that happened here a couple of years ago was that our timing is a little different than theirs, so I started working on it after they had already sent the assessment. So I guess for me, just trying to coordinate that, so if we do have any questions about the,
I'll try and get that firmed up as far as what that plan is.
And that would be true for all towns, really.
it would be true for all
Yeah.
towns. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure that if we have that discussion again, that we're part of the discussion while they're doing their budget, so that it
Yeah.
we don't cross that.
Right. So, I mean, in general, then, it sounds like it kind of makes sense for rescue to always keep that in mind in the
Yeah.
future, and maybe move the whole budget
Yeah.
process up.
Well, and obviously, if we can reduce or even eliminate increases because we're doing other things,
Yeah.
that's even better.
Yeah.
But the timeliness of budget would
Yeah.
be helpful
Yeah.
to be coordinated
Well,
with.
what's the ideal time? Now, or is it, you're gonna adopt the budget in March, but when?
Right, I start working on the budget around October is when I really, middle of October. And when I started working on it 2 years ago, I had already received the information from Rescue as to what the contract would be.
Okay,
So, I hadn't,
Which I guess
it
there's-
wasn't really on my,
There's pros and cons to that, because then, assuming that we're not trying to negotiate it, then we just accept it as it is, but.
right, and that's where some of the confusion came in, because
Exactly,
I
yeah.
didn't know we could negotiate, so I
Right.
didn't ask
Well,
for it.
and ultimately, I think that was
Yeah.
part of the
Yeah.
discussion that
Yeah.
came up, that's what complicated it,
Yeah.
so.
slightly different rates in some of the outlying towns, I
Yeah.
think, and the smaller towns pay a little higher rate
Yeah.
than other towns, but,
Yeah.
yeah. And as soon as that information is nailed down, I'll make sure that you have it and can deal with it however. Well, I thank you for your, I don't know if you get to kick me off this at this time, but I'm,
Try not
it's been
to.
an interesting thing, and I'm more than willing to continue to serve.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, just, it's really nice to hear that things sound like they're going well at Rescue, and
I
that
think they are.
they've gotten over what I would consider some rocky times, and
Yeah, they
they
were
seem to be on the
a bit
rebound.
before my time, but there was a lot of kind of leftover. And you hear bits and pieces from board members who've served for a long time, but now as I get in the facility and within the board and all that discussion, things like moving smoothly. It seems to be a pretty good relationship with the staff. We're pretty well, I think they're pretty well staffed, except in that paramedic category. They're also moving to an advanced critical. There's also apparently in that whole ambulance thing a category called advanced critical care, and some of our people are starting to take the courses and do the education to qualify in that, and that's just a step even more above the paramedics, and we're hoping that we'll have some people on our staff to do that. So it's a complicated thing, and there's a lot. One of the things I know they're going to talk tomorrow are changing state regulations, because the state regulations generally have a financial impact back on rescue. They require different, like they outlawed us using certain kind of hypodermic stuff and using EpiPens. EpiPens have a shorter shelf life, they're more expensive, those kinds of things. just happen through the medical process, with somebody saying, you gotta do this, but you've also gotta figure out how to pay for it. So, and that's kind of a constant that we deal with. But,
The classic unfunded mandate.
yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Norman.
Thank
Thank you very much.
You can stay if you want.
But you don't have to.
But you don't have
Thank you for putting me on early.
Yeah,
All right.
clearly the right person for the job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very fortunate.
All right, so town plan adoption timeline. This is what Pip sent, I take it?
Yes, so Pip sent an email last Wednesday, it looks like, just giving us a tentative outline and schedule for the town plan adoption. I just wanted to make sure that it was out there. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but at least knowing that by August 25th, the Planning Commission will adopt a resolution approving the draft. September 1st, we'll send the draft out to the statutory parties that we are required to. And then we'll post a public notice for a public hearing around the middle of September for a meeting in early October. So that's what people should be looking for. Once we get, Pip actually came in today with a draft. I wanted to give you each a copy. I haven't even looked at it yet. He just brought it in today. So as soon as they do their resolution approving it, then we'll probably post it on the website so that people can read it, and we'll have a copy here. And hopefully, if we hold to this schedule by January, we'll have a new town plan adopted.
Sure.
Okay.
And you remind, how often is the town plan done?
I can't remember if it's every 5.
5 or
5 years. I don't want to.
Okay,
Years
so-
of
I'm saying
time, I think.
So around
3,
maybe-
5. Yeah. I
More
don't-
than
It's more than 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's 5.
Yeah.
But
So if anybody has questions about the process, they can ask me. I'll follow up. I don't know exactly the process and what happens at the public meetings, and that's something that the Planning Commission is working on. So. Okay.
Okay. Let's see, donated land, or should we go to the animal control discussion
Doesn't-
perhaps? And then
Sure, it doesn't matter.
maybe someone else will come in by then about donated land.
Yeah.
So animal control. Which is,
So we talked about this last time because Amy resigned from the position. We've advertised, put it out there again, and I haven't had anybody come in and inquire about it. I did want to let you guys know that I left a message with Keith, or I sent him an email, and Melissa stopped to talk to me about it, and basically he's not saying no to it, but he really needs to make sure that the position is covered, equipment's covered, everything needs to be covered. I did a call of maybe 15 towns in the area. Some of them I didn't get a hold of. There's not much interest.
oh, really?
There's not.
Why? Because
well,
do they have animal control officers?
Some
in most
have,
of the towns, or-
Dummerston has their select board chair, and she said somebody else. They don't get a lot of calls, so it's not busy. Guilford has somebody. They pay them hourly, but there's not a lot. I just didn't get the reaction that I thought I was going to get.
Is there a reference of who maybe some of these people working for these different towns are? Is that somebody we could contact
Well,
and say, are you interested in taking
the only one that I can
Putney
think
on a
of
part-time
is
basis or something?
possibly Westminster's. They
Mhm.
have somebody that does it. They pay, an hourly wage too, but they put in like 6 hours last month or something like that. So I did contact Brattleboro. He's going to be back in touch with me. So I'm looking, but I guess in the meantime, I'm not sure I'll take calls if I can, and work through it, and but I don't know. Since last meeting, I don't think we've had a call about it, so I'm gonna knock on wood. But yeah, it's, if you guys are out and about and you think of somebody that is really looking to do animal control,
Right.
just keep it on your radar. So that's really all I wanted to just bring up, to make sure that you guys knew it was, we just don't have anybody, and I don't know
So we need someone for animal control, right?
what we're gonna do.
Please. Yeah. Yeah.
So, like I said, Keith is not, I think Newfane was the only town that really was like, yeah, we're without one right now, and we need something.
Well, I remember that from the meeting up in Townsend.
Yeah.
They mentioned that.
Yeah.
Something.
So, okay,
All right.
yeah.
All right. So again, we're back to the third of
Or,
four discussions about the donated land. It's what, 50 acres
yeah,
off of Route 5. I did put a bug in the forest committee. It's yours about taking a look at it.
Forest committee at the school.
At the school,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talking about how it can possibly become connected
yeah,
indirectly with the school forest, and that they should probably put a team together maybe to take a look at it.
yeah. I did ask the cemetery commissioners if I could be on the agenda for the next meeting, so I will mention that to them and see if maybe they can do some of the legwork on researching what the laws are and what land has to be, all that kind of stuff. But I haven't had anybody approach me about it since the last meeting.
And I haven't heard anything about it since the last meeting.
It's not quiet.
Maybe summertime, maybe when school's back in.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes a difference if people are back in town. And
I think probably it'll make a difference when people know, like if there's a real project
gotta
that
get-
we're really considering.
Right.
Yeah,
That-
like I said,
that's- right,
the
that's-
surveyor tape.
exactly.
Start
Yeah.
an ugly rumor of some kind.
Put police barrier across there. All right, so on to town manager's report.
Can I just, I wanted to just give you guys, this is part of the whole town plan thing. This has to do with flood regulations. I just keep it with it because later it's going to be referenced. It was just a document that Ann Carey brought in. And I told her I would have you guys look at it and so that you'd be familiar with it. All right, we on to me, you said?
On to you.
So I wanted to, the pool is closing on Sunday. It was our last day. Yeah. I've had complaints about it closing so early. This is the same time we closed last year. But we have pretty much lost every lifeguard that either to school or sports. The other thing that I wanted to mention in case you get some calls on it is that the Safe Routes to School project is going on right now. I was told on Monday that Basins would be paving on Thursday, and could we please close the pool that day just to keep it safe up there and people out of the way. I canceled the lifeguards to work, put signs up, the pool is closed. I found out today they're paving on Friday. So I asked the 2 lifeguards that were originally on if they could work, and they can't now. They've already either made plans or... So the pool will still be closed tomorrow. I'm sure that I'm going to get some angry people call me. I don't know what, there's nothing I can do. I don't have a lifeguard to sit up there. I did tell Basins today, though, that we are not closing the pool on Friday. They need to have it paved before we open at noon. So they are going to have that section paved, have it ready before noon. I mean, they didn't call and even tell me that.
Right.
So I was trying to be accommodating for Thursday. I wasn't. Steve was there when I was on the phone.
She was friendly, I'm sure. Friendly but stern.
Yes. I was impressed.
So
She got the point across.
Yeah.
I believe it.
So the pool will be open on Friday. Saturday, it's questionable whether it will be open. We have 1 lifeguard. Bev, who has been our part-time pool manager, has been working really hard she's found some kids. One girl from Massachusetts has helped us out, so she's found some subs. But I have told
We can't open with one lifeguard.
No.
Yeah.
No. So I'm just putting the word out there that anybody that wants to take their lifeguard certification, that maybe wants to just help us out in the last few weeks of August, that aren't going to college and are not sports, we'd be more than happy to hire some part-time people, but it's almost impossible to get people.
Right.
So we're doing the best we can to keep it open as long as we can and as many days as we can, but it really gets down to the wire right now. The other pools, I think Brattleboro's closing on Sunday. I don't know when Bellows Falls is closed. So it's, you know, it's everybody's in the same boat.
Yeah.
But it went really well this year, much better than last year. Having Bev there made all the difference for us. She took off a lot of
And
the...
is she willing to do that next
She
year?
wants to do it next year,
Good.
yes.
Okay.
Yep. So the kids really liked her. The kids really, you know, the kids at the pool that were attending, the lifeguards really appreciated having somebody kind of in and out, and so it was much better.
Good.
Much better. So
Yeah, she's in the Brattleboro swim team, so she knows everybody
Yeah.
in the swimming
Yep.
world. Yeah.
yeah, she's got a lot of contacts, and she kept it very. In the beginning, there was a lot of people that were really not liking some of the rules. We eased up on it a little bit. But I think what we'll see, we have a lot of kids that are entering their freshman year of college, a lot of lifeguards, hoping that maybe they'll come back. But I think that we've gotten it to a point where I asked a couple of them, said, how was it this year compared to last summer? And they're like, much better.
Good.
Much better. So I'm hoping that will help us retain.
January.
Yeah, and she does, Bev does the, she helps teach for the lifeguard certification. So now that we're kind of, you know, she's working with us, she can
Well,
start
yeah.
recruiting
Yeah.
more kids too. So I had no idea what the training was like until my daughter went through it. No idea.
And it's pretty rigorous.
It is,
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
I mean, my daughter's an athlete, and I was like, ooh, I don't know if you're gonna pass this physical test just to get into the class. That's not even to take the class. So,
Yeah, both women that do that are
yeah, very good.
you better be good,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah, certainly makes sense.
So yeah, that was much better report this year than last year about the pool.
And I just want to, ask whether Cynthia's daughter actually heard on TV what she said about maybe not passing the test.
Oh, she knows. We were. She knows. I don't think she's ever been so nervous about taking any kind of test. Yeah. But yeah, it was.
It's a toughie.
And I have to tell you, between that training that she's had, and she went to a program last week where Chris Fennell, who works for Rescue, did a CPR training with her down there. She came upon an accident the other night. I could not believe how she handled it.
She's both together.
Totally.
Yeah.
She was one of the first ones there, walked right over to the truck, started helping and talking to the guy. Yeah.
Important stuff.
Very, very impressive, the training that that they're getting in this area.
Good.
So, I didn't put this on there, but there is a sidewalk committee meeting next Wednesday, the 19th at 12:30, if anybody can make it. That's for this next phase. I don't.
Phase 2.
The meeting is for both phase 2 and 3. Just kind of let's get everybody together. We actually have the design for both phases at the same spot, 60% right now. We're still stuck in the right-of-way process for phase 2.
Are we likely to go out to bid next spring, you think?
I'm hoping that we will go out to bid in January.
Yeah. Good.
Because if we wait any longer,
We might not get it.
I've been told by several engineers these projects are going out to bid and they're barely getting anybody to bid on them. So it needs to be really, the timing needs to be. I think if we get through the right-of-way process on this phase 2, I think, and I'm not even talking right-of-way with with the landowners. I'm talking the state
State,
approving the
that was-
right-of-way
right.
No, I
plans.
know, I know.
And they still haven't bent on that at all.
Well, no. I don't know that they haven't bent, they just haven't said one way or the other if they're done.
Yeah.
Hopefully by next Wednesday at this meeting, we'll have a complete update on all of that.
Right.
So that's what the meeting's for. And then just a reminder about the open house tomorrow night at Old Depot Road. Starts at 4:30. Josh is on the
Yes.
agenda to speak.
I
for
went
the town.
on Sunday, there was a small group of solid supporters of the housing trust who were there, and it's really impressive.
Isn't it?
It's worth coming by if you haven't seen it. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, it is nice in there.
I think it's going to be some of the most desirable apartments in Putney.
Yeah.
In fact, at the prices, I mean, the rates are, I don't want to misquote it, but you know, they're ballpark 500 for single, less than 500 for single, just over 500 for two bedrooms, and it's 6-ish for a 3-bedroom,
Wow.
of which there's only one, but it's pretty, and they're nice
I
apartments.
know, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's impressive what they've done, definitely.
Those windows in the back are
Cool.
humongous.
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
really
it.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice
Yeah.
back there. All right.
Wow.
Yep. So I did put a status report. We're very early in, we're only done with, well, we have all of August bills in here so far, but very early, but just to give you a starting point of the year. If you look at that first line, the property taxes, that includes the school. I've got to take that out of there. We don't really get $5
We're doing pretty
million
well on that
yet.
one.
But that was the amount we billed. So that's the total billing. I need to back out the school portion.
Total amount we billed and then, right. So this is just our municipal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I wanted to start giving you some preliminary stuff for, I'm going to give you all sorts of paper so that we can. So this is just the start of the financial statements for FY15. This bundle are ones that are ready for the auditors. And it just gives you an idea of where we are with, well, the library is new, that's a new report that you guys have never seen. All of our other governmental funds, which is like our capital reserve, energy conservation, Edwalds, to where we're at with those. So those are ready for the auditor. I don't know if there's anything specific that I wanted to. Oh, I do want to mention the cemetery fund, which is it's on one of the longer sheets, the first page. Their fund balance is around $58,000, but I still have not gotten any documentation from the cemetery commissioners. It's that first column, Steve.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I still have not gotten any. Remember that was a finding during last year,
Right.
and they were going to go through the records and dig. I still haven't gotten anything. So that's one of the reasons I asked to be on the agenda for the cemetery commissioners.
And do they have a full board?
They do, yeah.
Mhm. And that was for how the funds could be dispersed.
Right.
Right.
Right, because like we were talking about last year, one of the difficult things is when we look at a fund balance of $57,000 and we start talking about a maintenance plan for the cemeteries, which is the other thing I wanted to bring up to the cemetery commissioners when I meet with them, is that I don't know how much of that $57,000 is committed for something else.
Right.
So part of that process that they were supposed to go through was to look through the records, see if there was any documentation to help us figure out what that 57 was, other than the general fund. I mean, the operating checkbook. I know that money can be used for whatever, but so I don't know if
But
that
that's the money that comes
comes from the town.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't
And
know.
is that included in here or not?
Yeah,
It is?
yeah. Because we just do a transfer right over at the beginning.
So it just goes to the cemetery fund and then they can spend it?
They can spend it, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that if that work does not get done before the auditor completes his work, we'll have that finding again this year. I don't think there was anything else really. You can see the reappraisal fund's at 10,000, but that's our, we're starting to build that back up again with the money that the state sends us. So we spent it all down.
It's just, that's the
Yeah.
first year.
Yep.
And Edwald, that's the amount that came from Edwald this year, not the value of the Edwald fund.
The 16,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's
that's
how much
the-
we have.
Right, but that's how much we have already
Right.
received from the Edwald fund.
That's what
It's
we
not-
had dispersed to us.
Okay,
Yeah.
right, that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, plus any balance coming forward that we had last year.
Is already included in this.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not, yeah. Yep.
And I just went back, the reappraisal fund, I guess I don't really fully know how that.
We get a payment from the state every year. It's a per parcel payment that they send us a check. We save it. It helps us for our next
For the
reappraisal.
next 5
Yeah.
or 6 years. Or
So when
whatever
we
it
did
is.
our last reappraisal, we had built that up to a certain
I see,
point.
okay.
That's why we did have to spend some money out of the general fund, but not as much as you would if you didn't
Okay,
have that.
I see.
And is this 10,000, is that representative of how much they actually give us on an annual basis? Or
Yeah, it's
it's
between
roughly
9 and
10?
10. Yeah,
Okay.
9 something and 10. Yeah.
Okay.
The Records Restoration Fund, which is the second to the last fund, that one we'll probably talk about a little bit this year because there is some talk about getting the vault worked on. So
Back in
yeah.
Anita's
So
office.
when you file a document in the town clerk's office that costs $10, $6 goes to the town, $4 goes to the restoration fund. So that's been building up. I don't know how it got to be that much. There might have been moved from somewhere else, but
And are we doing anything digital with any of that, or is it just restoration of existing?
yeah. I mean, the thought process behind is getting some vault work and then trying to get things digital, a scanner and that. I mean, Nimerick has the capability of this.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
wondering. I mean, whether we
Yeah.
should keep that in mind as
Yeah.
we go forward, that's certainly where everything's headed, so
Yeah.
it would make sense.
So I think probably out of those, we didn't overspend in any of them, which was good. Well, a little bit, $300, $200. The library stuff, like I said, that's all new. That's going to be new for people to see this year because we started their books July 1st last year.
And how's that been? Good?
Pretty good, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some things that we need to. That's one of the things we need to do is with the whole computer system upgrade is get it so they're connected with us. That way
Yeah.
we can just input,
Straight through.
just
Yeah.
streamline it a little
Work
bit.
with
But
them. Yeah.
but other than that, I mean, Emily's great about making, really watching her budget and really wanting things
In order.
in order. Yeah, she's really great. So, and then White Whitney, that's our fiduciary funds. That's our investments kind of we earned a lot of money, but then we
And
lost a lot
paper,
of money.
yeah.
So it kind of evened out all year. And then the last couple pages, the 8.5 by 11 pages are our debt payments, what we have for outstanding debt. And then I don't have the general fund is not complete to send to the auditor yet, but we are at. I told you guys I was going to give you a lot of paper. That's the general fund. This is the health reimbursement account. The general fund, actually, we ended up with a fund balance of about $149,000. So there's two, yeah. So we ended up fiscal year 15. Everything's been posted, and I don't think there's any more journal entries in the general fund I'm going to have to do, but I'm just going to put that out there in case I find something. We ended up the year, the excess of revenue over expense for the year was 3,000.
What was it here?
3,314. You don't see that on the.
Oh, okay.
But the overall fund balance ended up being 149,381 because we had a carryover from last year.
Okay.
Now, some of that 149,000 is
So
going to
that's
go
not
towards.
on here either. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
well, it's here, but
I wrote
not.
it,
Yeah.
25,000 is what we voted on for painting to use out of surplus. We had a $3,192 material reserve. I need to talk to Brian. It's possible that we might try to reserve some money in his budget.
So at this point, is that you may have already said
No,
this?
sorry.
That considered surplus or
Yes.
not? It is okay.
It
So
is.
and is this final?
As
Of
long
course.
as I don't find another journal entry, yeah. Yeah.
Most.
So we're in we're in good shape. The
Yeah.
year was 3,000, like I said, we were almost, that's what you call
Even.
yeah. So one of the things that came to mind while I was doing all this, and I tried to look back, but the painting is 38,000, not 25. So I think that when we were talking about we'll have to take the balance from somewhere, whether it was going to be capital or
Well,
do you remember?
It seems to me when we had the money, wasn't that part of the discussion with the backhoe purchase, or there was some money left out of something that was a capital that I thought we put 13 towards this.
We took 13 towards the down payment on the
On the
grader.
Right.
We took 13.5 out of the capital fund to put the down payment on the grader.
I thought there was some discussion about painting at the same time, but I could be totally
Well, I couldn't
crossing
find,
the
I'm
two.
not really recalling it either.
It might also just be that it's 13 and that number clicks with
Yeah.
me, so I don't,
I mean, we're 13,000 really short on what we voted on. So,
Oh, wait, was it something to do with insulation?
no.
No, okay. Oh, that was what. Yeah, that was right. Okay.
So my initial thought was we would take it out of capital, or now seeing the fund balance that we have,
take that
might
back.
just let it lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Certainly seems to make sense.
yeah. So, but I won't know that for sure until I really finish everything. One thing that is a good, the HRA fund, which is the other smaller
Yeah.
set of papers that I gave you. There is, I don't know what I did in mine, but
10,000.
there's a $10,000 fund balance in the HRA fund. Basically what we do is we take, in the budget we fund 75% of what, I think it's 75%, of what the possibility is of our employees using
Right.
the amount of the deductible that they have. So we fund that in the general fund, and at the beginning of the year, we just move that money over to that account so that people can draw off of it when they go to the doctor. So this year we moved over 11,250. They only spent 3,198. So we have a pretty healthy balance in there. So I think this year we will not, I don't even use those, I need to delete those numbers.
Okay.
I think this year we'll hold off in transferring until, so that might be a place where we don't even spend that money out of the budget this year. There's no sense in transferring the money over there if we don't need it.
And then move it. Or can we just keep this?
We'll just keep
Can
this
we
in
just
this
keep
checking
that
account,
as
yeah.
the existing balance and not
This
move
really is
more?
part of the general fund balance.
Right,
yeah.
but it's sort of designated.
It's designated
for
for
that.
that.
But we can just leave it like that.
Yep, we'll
right?
just leave it like that, and instead of transferring over
More.
the amount we appropriated for it this year, we'll just wait and see what happens.
Good.
As long as there's money there for people to draw off of if they.
And it's all still functioning as an HRA for.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple that aren't HRA. Is that right? Am I remembering that correctly? Or
Well,
no?
there's a couple of us that don't have the health insurance, so we get
So
the,
you,
we get a buyout,
right, okay.
yeah,
Then
so
that's
much a
fine.
month to.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so that's good news. That means we're a healthy group of people.
There you go. Sure.
So we're close. I'm hoping by Friday I'll be able to send everything to John at the auditor's office. He will be in next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I can't remember. But I should be able to have everything to him and have him get his work done. That's that. Where's the warrants? Laura, is there just this one?
Looks like maybe more than one. Is this,
Yeah.
there's payroll ones, but
Gosh. Alright.
Just by looking at it, I think there is one more that she
Yeah.
hasn't processed yet.
Borrow your pen.
Here, let me put those back in here.
Grab one out.
five of five, so that's finished, that's paid off, is that what that would signify?
Yes. I did just put out to get rates from the banks for the backhoe.
Oh.
So that'll be on the next. I think the backhoe is being delivered either the last week in August or first week in September, somewhere around there. Yeah. It was in the bank today. Did you guys see the picture of the guys on, have you been in People's Bank?
Not recently, not recently.
Picture of the road crew on the grader that John Knopper took? You need to go in and look at it. It was over here for a while. Oh no, maybe it is still there. Is it laying on that?
The pictures in there have been great for,
Did you see
Oh,
Anita's
people?
today? You need to go
I
in and
haven't
see
been,
Anita's.
I haven't been in
Yeah,
probably a
there
week,
is.
but.
It's really good.
Yeah. You have to look at it. But there was a little kid in there today and I heard him say to his mom, I have a toy just like that.
Sign them up.
Train it out, yeah.
Yeah, I've got John on a mission to take all sorts of. He
they've
started.
been
He
great.
started the picture. He started the mission of taking pictures of people and putting them in there. But then I said to him, "Can you start taking some pictures for the town report? Just
Mhm.
Yeah.
because we get to town report time and it's miserable out,
Yeah.
and nobody wants a picture with a pile of snow, and
Unless
We
there's a
have-
grader in it.
and we have no pictures to put in the town report."
And she's the one that starts in a picture in the bank, is that right?
She is. It shows her
Picture-
piles
that
of
picture
paper a
doesn't-
lot. I'm going to pick on her about it.
That's it's, someone was talking about that today. Okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, other business to
I don't have any.
to work on here? No.
I was just gonna. I meant to call Tom today about the tire pile to follow up on that, and I didn't. I forgot. So I will ask him about it before the next meeting. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention was that Wyndham Wood Heat Initiative. The Wyndham Regional is coming to the fire station on Monday at 9 o'clock to do an assessment of that building. I think they're going to come here too, but we're going to start at the fire station. So hopefully by the next meeting or the meeting after, I'll have something to report on that.
Good.
All right. Do we need an executive session?
I don't.
Nope. All right. I'd entertain a
So moved. Motion to adjourn.
okay. Meeting adjourned at 6:27.
The next meeting is
Wow.
August 26th.